Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today is my updated Senate predictions as of September 24th, 2018. We are still under 50 days before the midterm elections actually happen. Currently there's a lot of controversy around Kavanaugh. That may have an effect. And I did take that into account when I was deciding my predictions. Um, in total, we have 4 changes. Um, I think this will be the greatest amount of states in the tilt column because the races are starting to tighten up as we get closer and closer to the actual election day. So, in any event, let's get started. So, there are 2 that I'm moving from likely Democratic in my last video to safe Democratic at this point. And those 2 states would be New Mexico. I only had it in the likely column for my last video because of Gary Johnson. However, new polling shows that Martin Heinrich is pretty far ahead of Rich and Gary Johnson at this point. He would win pretty easily if the election were to happen today. Part of that is because Rich takes away some of the potential Gary Johnson vote. As well, the other state that's moving into the safe column is the state of West Virginia. For a long time, I think just about every, except if not every single prediction, I've had Joe Manchin in West Virginia in the likely column for Democrats. However, his lead is expanding more, which is interesting because he was doing pretty well regardless. In any event, he's well on his way to retaining a seat as one of the most bipartisan members of the Senate. Next, let's move to likely Democratic. We only have one, and that's Montana. Jon Tester's race is tightening, yes. However, in my mind, it's not tight enough to change it to the leaning column for Democrats. However, in the future videos, I would consider putting it into the leaning column for Democrats. Same as my last video, I currently see no states that are in the likely Republican column, so I'm just going to skip straight to leaning Republican. And right now, Texas. Ted Cruz is up a little bit after their debate, after Beto and Ted's debate. I think overall, Beto and they both did pretty well. It wasn't a completely bad debate for either camp. And this race will be close. A lot closer than a lot of people think, but I think we will have it called not too long. And also, North Dakota, Kevin Cramer, by my estimations, is still going on track to beat Heidi Heitkamp for a seat by over 1%. I'm not saying gonna blow her out. No, I think Heidi Heitkamp is still a pretty good candidate. However, Kevin Cramer is more supportive of the president, and in a state that approves of the president by a lot, you can see the effects. Next is leaning Democratic. Both of these states were already in the leaning Democratic column. Joe Donnelly in Indiana is still in the leaning Democratic column for now. And the state of Arizona, Kyrsten Sinema it's definitely a closer race than it was before. Kyrsten Sinema was up by 9 at one point. However, now the race is getting closer, partially because of John McCain dying, partially because of a lot of different things. Now we have the tilting states. We have two states that move from the likely to first tilting for the Democrats. Tennessee was tilting before. It is still an average. The average is a tie in polls. However, Phil Bredesen hit 50% in one of the polls, which is a good sign for Phil. Also, Nevada, Jackie Rosen's average is down to about 0.6%. While I still think that she will probably win the election, I think that it's closer than it was before, and maybe it's not as far-fetched as I thought that Dean Heller could retain the seat. And tilting Republican, Missouri in the last video was tilting Republican. This is continuing to tilt Republican by a slight margin. The states that could flip the easiest would be Tennessee and Missouri, as stated in my previous video. I think those two will be the ones to keep eyes on throughout the night. And Florida, I'm putting in the tilt Republican column from the leaning Republican column. This comes as Rick Scott is not doing as well in the polls anymore. Bill Nelson is coming back in the polls. Not too much to say that I haven't already said on the state of Florida. I originally thought it was going to be close, but then the margin started spreading, and I thought, okay, maybe not. But now it's starting to become closer again, so these four are the ones to keep a watch on. So anyway, that's it for this video. Republicans keep their current margin of 51 to 49. This would be the map. Tennessee gets Nevada, blue, Florida, all red. The red wall, completely red. So that's it for this video. Comment down below what you think. And also any new ideas for videos, and I will see you all soon.